Hello, welcome to the Long Island weather update and outlook. And today we saw a little more sun. Yesterday we had a lot of clouds around. As you can see, there was some breaks today, especially toward the afternoon. Whereas yesterday we were pretty socked in. Yesterday, you could see all the clouds we had yesterday. So definitely doing a lot better, at least especially toward the afternoon, and that's good because that gets us ready for the eclipse tomorrow. Oh, look at this! This is interesting. You can see little area left of snow. Like still snow, a lot of snow on the ground over here in northern New England, and they're going to have the best viewing conditions in Plattsburgh, and then Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Further to the west, there will be more clouds, and that's what we're going to have to watch out for as well. But first, let's talk about yesterday. We'll just briefly go over the highs and the lows for yesterday. Let me get that on the screen, please. So, it was the highs. Generally, we were in the low to mid 50s yesterday, and lows were generally in the around 40 degrees, say. All right, and we'll get that. We'll look at the climate outlook. Get this all out of the way first here. So, as far as not climate outlook, but climatology for today. At Islip, the high was 53. The low was 44 today. That's right around normal. At Islip, Central Park had a high of 60. Wow, much warmer there. And a high of 43, so they were 2 degrees above normal today. It's a lot warmer inland, cooler on Long Island. I think that's what there was just more sun there. Let's go to yesterday's. So yesterday's, that's not yesterday's, is it? It's not yesterday's. This is yesterday's. So yesterday's, the high was 52, the low was 40, and right at normal too. So we had 2 days at normal at Islip. So I'll show you the satellite loop now, and you'll see that not too many clouds around. We look at that. We did start off clear, and then we had the clouds pop up, and then toward the afternoon it was clear. But this is the high clouds that we're going to have to watch for tomorrow. That could be a problem for the eclipse. And let's look at what it looked like outside today, first of all, because we did see some blue sky today, and I'll just show it to you here. Back in the pines, of course. Enjoying some of that blue sky that we had. It's really nice blue sky, as you can see. That we had there, some puffy clouds. Again, we had these stratocumulus clouds, but not as many as yesterday. And then around toward 3, 4 o'clock, it cleared out completely, and they were mostly sunny. And then we had a nice, mostly sunny dusk. So there you go. That's what it looked like out there today. Definitely a prettier day than yesterday. I can run this. Let's go to the CONUS view here. So you get an idea. Here's the next storm system here. Oh, this one's also really, look at this thing. I'll just run this on. Can I run this on like a 48 loop? Yeah, so we can see some of the daytime. So you can see, look at that. So this is the next storm system that we have to watch for here. And this is going to already throw some high clouds our way. You can see that atmospheric river again coming right from the Pacific again. There it is again. And we'll have to worry about that later in the week. Yeah, this doesn't want to. All right, there it goes. But you can see this big low pressure system here. Almost looks like there's some dust that's being spoon up in the upper plains there from that. Let's look at the upper plains. Let's look at the upper plains loop here. I don't know if this is the upper plains loop. Yeah, it looked like there was some dust there in there. Let's look at that for a moment. All these satellites seem to take a long time to load now. I don't know why they're so slow, but yeah, that almost looks like dust right here. So we do have some dust over there as well. So you have dust that's being, and then you still have the fires that are probably in the south too. You can see a little one over there. This is just not loading, so I don't know what's going on. We'll go to the MODIS, and you can see that there's dust over there, and then can't really see the fires that are in this area because of the high clouds, I guess. Hopefully they're not too bad. But you can see a lot of clear sky here over there. So yeah, we're still waiting for this to loop. So I don't know what's going on with the satellite site. It's really, yeah, look at that. There's dust there. That's actually dust. Look at that. That is really interesting to see. And a wildfire. So this looks like, what is that? Kansas? So Kansas looks like it's getting some red flag type conditions. Let's look at the loop in our area. Yeah, I'll just hit this button. So I'll show you what the day was like in our area. And you can see those clouds we had quite a few clouds around, and then it kind of cleared out a little later on in the day. You can see again, very, very slow loading. So, and you can see, yeah, there's the red flag, and there's some stuff going on. As far as our area goes, yeah, we've got what have we got here? Come on. Coastal flood statement, and as far as New Jersey goes, coastal flood advisory, believe it or not. Seems like we're seeing this just more and more with these coastal flood advisories. Let's look at our temperatures here. And oh boy, map's all screwed up. So we do have a sea breeze out there which developed, which I was not expecting. So we'll go look at what the conditions were like at Islip today. And you'll see during the day we had a lot of clouds around, but then it got better toward the afternoon. Pretty much a north to north-northwest wind, gusty at times. But then right around, 7 o'clock this evening, the winds kind of just shifted. They shifted off to the east and then the south. And then there was a sea breeze that developed and dropped the temperatures from the low 50s down to the mid-40s, which is interesting. I'm sure you didn't get that effect in Jersey. So let's go look at the highs for the day on the map here. And you can see Long Island generally in the mid-50s. Upper 40s maybe on the Twin Forks, and Jersey and parts of New York City in the low 60s. So a lot warmer, away from the influence of the ocean. And as far as lows go, lows generally upper 30s to around 40. So this is our satellite loop here, and you can see we've got to watch this stuff here. Again, we're having problems with the satellite website. I don't know what's going on, but you can see that stuff approaching. And that's what we have to watch for tomorrow. So looking at the weather map here, you'll see here we've got this low that's in the central part of the country here. And we don't have to worry about any rain, but the problem is it's throwing a lot of clouds around in the path of the eclipse, which is, the path of the eclipse we'll show you in a minute. But it's throwing a lot of clouds to a lot of the areas. Statistically, it would be the south, like Texas, that would be the sunniest. But they're going to actually wind up having more clouds. The Northeast, particularly New England, northern New England, is going to have the cleared skies, which statistically would be more unlikely. But so we're going to talk a little bit about the eclipse now, all right? So this is the path of the solar eclipse, all right? This is the totality path of it, all right? So this is where there will be a total eclipse. See, it's not a very wide area, all right? But you'll notice that it does encompass parts of New York. Western New York, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, where they're going to be dealing with a high cloud deck. But as you head further to the north and east toward Plattsburgh, there should be more sunshine. And then you'll notice it goes over parts of Canada too. Yeah, a lot of the Canadian cities are going to, I think Montreal and Toronto will have it. And you notice northern parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, and a lot of Maine also in the path of this total eclipse. And it's close to us, but it's not that close to us. It's still, if we go to Google Maps, I'll just show you, because I can't measure mileage on here. It's still a ways away as the crow flies. So still probably, let's see, still about over 200 miles away from, if you want to get into the path of totality, which is still a distance to travel. Especially, there's not really much transportation being offered or anything like that for people. They say use mass transit, but there isn't any transportation being offered for people. So there's going to be a lot of traffic. And I'm going to talk a little more about the eclipse, I think, in another video. We'll see how the traffic winds up being, and maybe I'll make a video about that, ranting about that, because the state failed to provide adequate public transportation. I mean, they should have had, Amtrak should have been running a lot of trains up there. But I digress. So we're using this to show you how much of the eclipse we're going to see here on Long Island. Obviously, it's not going to be a total eclipse, but it's going to be a lot more than the last one. So let's take a look at Mineola. That'll be the first place we'll look at here. All right, I think I got to just hit this button here. And it's going to be an 89.6%. It's almost 90% eclipse here, and it's going to be around 3:26 p.m. So it starts around 2:11 and 3:26. You can see a lot of the sun's going to get covered, but it's not like having a total eclipse. So don't stare at the sun without eclipse glasses, or, I'm just going to use my camera to try to get a picture of it. I'm not going to look at the sun directly, but that's when it's going to happen. So 3:26. Make sure wherever you are that you spend some time and you have a chance to get outside and take a look at this happening, because it's going to be pretty interesting. So you can see we're almost around 90% here in Mineola. All right, so that's generally what Long Island is going to see, around 89.6. A little less if you're in Toms River, a little more if you're further to the north. It's only a zip code search, so I don't think I can just click on the map. Maybe I can click on the map, and it'll tell me. Yeah, all right, so if you're in Toms River, you're going to get a little bit less, 87.4% over there. That's what you're going to see over there. And if you go a little north of the city, Port Jervis is probably going to be the best play. They're going to get 93.3% in Port Jervis, so a little bit more than Long Island. All right, so that's a little more. And if you go even further up, like Albany, for instance, Albany is going to get a lot more. They're going to get 96.9% of this eclipse. And we'll just pick another city. Pick Bridgeport here, 90.7. Quorum, 89.3. So generally, Long Island's going to see about 90%. Like I said, 89, 90%. The further north you go, the more of it you're going to see. But it's not really going to be a big difference until you get into the path of totality, and that's where you're going to see a lot of the percentage. Now, Glens Falls, for instance, they're at 98.8%. They're on the edge, but they're not there yet. At Plattsburgh, they're going to have 100%. They're going to have a total eclipse. All right. So Plattsburgh, Millinocket, these are the areas they're going to have a total eclipse. If you're in Boston, you're going to get about 92.4% coverage. All right. It will be noticeable, but it won't be like having the, if you're in the total path of the total eclipse, it gets dark. It's dark enough to see the stars. All right. We're not going to experience that here. It'll be a dimming of the sun, but it won't be like what they're going to have a couple of 100 miles to the north. Yeah, I wish I was there, but I don't have the budget or the, it's a long, long train ride up there. Eight hours, I believe, to get up there. So it's a long. We don't have any, if I was the governor, we certainly would have high-speed rail going from New York to Albany, probably, and to Plattsburgh would probably be much quicker. But I'm not the governor. Nobody really wants to take, this is not New Jersey where you have a high-speed rail line going through the middle of the state. If you're going to Boston, maybe it would be easier. But now if you're in Manchester, you got 95.3, so you get to see a little more of it, all right? So there you go. That's what it looks like. And if you're in New York City, 89.6. So right around 90% coverage is what we're going to see here in New York, all right? I'll put the link to this tool below. All right, but let's talk about what's going to be happening with our weather now. And I guess I kind of go usually the long range first, but we'll go over the short term and just look at tomorrow, because I know you want to know about the eclipse and how this is all going to pan out. So this low pressure is the problem here. This is going to spread some high clouds over toward us. No precipitation, but we have to watch for the high clouds. That's going to be the problem. So I'm going to show the sky maps, and then we'll get into the weather discussion here. But we'll first look at the GFS. This is a low-resolution model of regular GFS. All right, so you can see this doesn't look good at all. This would be around when the eclipse happened. You can see a lot of thick, high cloud cover over us. This is the GFS, though, and this is overdone, most likely. I can look at the FV3, which is the higher resolution version of the GFS. Don't have the 0Z run of that in. So let's go and look at another model. Let's go look at the RGEM. All right. So this is the RGEM, and you see we're starting off clear tomorrow, but then these high clouds come in. It's annoying we can't get a clear day because, we suck. The minute that low pulls out, this comes in. Meanwhile, they had sunny weather to our west for a couple of days, but there's a log jam in the atmosphere. You can see these cirrus clouds are going to be a problem for the eclipse tomorrow. And it's not going to cover the sun completely, but it's going to filter it. And it may, for those who want to get a real good, clear picture of the corona, this is a problem for people in the path of totality. It's going to be a bit of a problem. that these damn high clouds are going to be around. And also, we got to worry about jet chunk. And I really hope that when the eclipse takes place, that they're going to have no flights going over the path of the eclipse, junking up the sky, hopefully, so they can, at least have a temporary ground stop, so we don't have a bunch of contrails making things even worse than they already are. But if you're in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, well, maybe more like New Hampshire, you will be having mostly sunny skies for this eclipse. For us, we're going to have to worry about these high clouds. They're going to be a problem. And unfortunately, like I said, it's going to roll in pretty quick on us. It's going to roll in, like I said, probably around, in the morning. So forget about having any clear skies tomorrow in much of New York, except that northeast corner where Plattsburgh is, perhaps. So that's pretty much what we have with this NAM model. I meant not the NAM model, the RGM. Let's go to the NAM model next. I don't have the 0Z NAM in. This is as much as we got. 18Z NAM. And you can see these high clouds again coming in. They are high clouds, and that's a pretty thick batch right there. That's not good at all. So that's a pretty thick batch. There are breaks, and maybe we'll have a break over us here on Long Island. But for the path of totality in much of New York, you're going to have to deal with these high clouds, unfortunately. If you want to have, my suggestion is if you want to see this eclipse and have a clear sky, you better be heading to Maine. And I don't know, but you better be getting to Maine like right now and start driving, all right? Because that's going to be the best place, I think, to have the best viewing conditions, given these clouds coming in. They're coming in faster than we thought. The models are indicating more in the way. And these are high clouds, so if we go and we look at the middle cloud, you'll see, all right, actually, no, there's some mid-level clouds here, too. Those are thicker. They're going to be a little more of a problem. But these aren't low-level clouds. So if we look at the low cloud fraction, you can see there is none, all right? RGEM, all right, we don't have a low cloud fraction on this. It only gives us a total cloud fraction. We can look at the HRRR as well, and this is more of a higher resolution model, the 0Z run, and look at a sounding and kind of show you where the moisture is in the atmosphere. Or 18Z is 2 o'clock, so it's 3 o'clock is the eclipse. So let's take a sounding over Plattsburgh right here. Let's see what they've got. They've got a humid upper atmosphere. It may not be overcast, but they definitely got a humid upper atmosphere. For us here on Long Island, it's showing more of a mid-level cloud deck over here. Now, if you're in Maine is going to be great. You're going to have clear skies the whole way through. So my suggestion, you may be wanting to head to Maine or Vermont or New Hampshire. I think those are going to be your best bets if you're in the Northeast to see this eclipse. And like I said, you may want to get going right now after you watch this video, because if you're heading to upstate, you're going to be dealing with clouds in New York, unfortunately. So, it's hard to get everything just right. And then look at that. It even shows some showers. This is the HRRR showing some shower activity, actually. They had insult to injury over some of the areas of western New York. I don't think any of it makes it to us, but there's definitely be some clouds around for us tomorrow, unfortunately. So that's my advice. Again, if you want to really see this eclipse and have a nice clear sky, you're going to have to go to New Hampshire or Maine. And I would suggest you leave as soon as possible, because I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. Anyway, and a lot of people are probably now seeing the forecast and heading east, I bet. So anyway, let's go back to the GFS here, and we'll go ahead and go to the North American view and take a look at the upper air and the jet stream pattern that we have right now. So you'll see that we have a jet stream. You can see it's kind of zonal, and that's the problem. You had that trough that was sitting over us, and now that it pulled out, we got a zonal flow, so you're getting all that cloud debris from the west. And you can see, look, it looks like a little bit of a split fire hose jet there in the Pacific here. And you'll see a ridge build this week, so we're going to see a warm-up because of that ridge. And then here comes another trough that's going to be digging in. That'll be our next storm that we're going to have to deal with on Thursday and Friday. And then a little bit of cool air behind that. And then, again, look at this messed up looking jet stream. It's just tied in knots all over itself. The only spot that it's not tied in knots, obviously over the Pacific, where it's a fire hose or a semi-fire hose. Not really as bad as it was during the winter, but still not really a favorable pattern for a lot of sunny days. So this is the GFS on the jet stream. Let's go to the European. Oh, the AI doesn't offer that. Just the operational offers it out. Right now, I got to go back. All right. All right, so now I got to back to 12Z run and see if there are any differences here that we have between the European and the GFS here. Euro, there's that ridge. There's your trough. More or less fairly similar here. You can see it's definitely digging in some ridging. The euro is showing a little more ridging in the east, so it might lead to more above normal temperatures. Let's go to the 500. So here's the 500, and you see that storm finally pulling away. We're in we start to see that ridging develop here, and then here comes your next storm system here. That's going to bring problems for Thursday, Friday. Thursday into Friday, perhaps. We'll look at the surface in a moment here. And then you can see that ridging that will develop after that on the European. Let's go to the GFS. So GFS, similar to the European pretty much. Not a huge difference here. It does show that ridging next week. So it does. And then another little low that comes in there and almost looks like an omega pattern there toward the end. All right. So that said, let's go and look at our temperature anomaly chart. All right. Well above normal in Canada. Starting off with, look at that. That's not good for the fire season at all. You can see the above normal temperatures stretching to the eastern part of the country. I'm kind of zoomed out just to show you that there is going to be a lot of above normal temperatures, particularly in the eastern half of the country. But then we see a cool down. Again, a couple of cool downs here. There is going to be above normal temperatures. The question is, will it come with sunshine or not? That is the question that we're going to have. I'll put this to the CONUS view now. European, pretty much have that agreement, I think, between the two models here at this point. There you see those above normal temperatures. Tomorrow is going to be above normal. Tuesday is going to be well above normal. Then well above normal for much of this week. And then, we're going to be above normal for a while. So this little cool spell we've had, I hope you enjoyed it because it's about to get warm. Be our last little taste of cool air, I think, until the fall, probably. So put those jackets away. You're not going to need them anymore. But the question is, will it come with rain or will it be dry? So let's go to the GFS. And actually, we'll start with the European AI. We'll go to the AI Euro. Let's do that AI Euro. So high pressure sits over us tomorrow. Fair weather. Fair weather Tuesday, too. Getting to the return flow. Warm conditions. And then we've got to watch for the rain. And this is going to be our next system here that we're going to have to watch for on Thursday. Another soaker. Thursday into Friday. This low going into the Great Lakes again, giving us rain. And then behind that, we're in a northwest flow for the weekend. And then it'll be dry for a while. Then we'll have, it looks like maybe some more rain chances as we get toward the following weekend, though. Let's look and see total accumulated precip on the European. This should give it. So it doesn't look terrible. So it doesn't look like we're going to see the same kind of soakings that we've seen back in March and the beginning of this month. Hopefully, we're finally going to be over this. Though, of course, that can always change. Let me go to the GFS and compare the GFS. Similar agreement here. It looks like a lot of rain in this area here. Parts of Texas into Missouri, and what state is that? That is Oklahoma. Part of Oklahoma there, in Arkansas. So that's where they're going to be getting a lot of rain. Let's go look at the this one. So we're going to look at this one, show you what the surface looks like as soon as it gets going here. All right, so again, 2 more dry days, then we're going to start seeing some rain chances creep in on Wednesday, and then here we go with the next rain system, though. It looks like this one's faster moving, and it won't produce as much rain. But you notice those tight isobars. That means a windy situation again as we get toward the later part of the week. And then another weaker system perhaps for Monday. And still, look at this intense low in the upper Midwest there. High pressure kind of gets sandwiched in next week, and that'll bring us fair and mild weather. So let's go back to the local view here, and we'll go back to the HRRR, so now you get an idea of what the kind of weather we're going to have for the next week or so. We'll go look at our dew points and wind flow. So here's your HRRR. Obviously, didn't show that sea breeze that developed. Like I said, we did wind up getting that sea breeze today that we weren't expecting. And if we go to our Wonder Map page, actually, I kind of want to show it to you as well. Let's get that. All right, so pick Belmore here. All right, so right now 42. So they had a sea breeze that came in, and it probably came in a little bit earlier. You'll see if we can see. Oh, there it is, right there, right around 6:30. That's when it came in. Yep, look at that. Had the temperature drop from the mid 50s down to the mid 40s, and the dew points went up. That's your sea breeze right there. Very, very evident on the South Shore. But if you head inland, it probably wasn't as evident. So let's go to Mineola, where it probably wasn't evident or at all. Nope, you can see it here too. Yep, it's right around the same. It took an hour to get here, but you can see it happened there too. The temperature dropped from the mid 50s down to the mid 40s. That's your sea breeze right there. That's interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, I guess it did make it through most of the island. One place it didn't make it through is Tom's River, though. We're not going to even look at that. All right, let's go to this. So starting off, dew points of wind flow. Winds become westerly. They go back to westerly and northwesterly to start the day tomorrow, and then there's that southwesterly wind. So we'll have that sea breeze again. You notice once the wind shifts, you see the moisture level increase in the air quite a bit. Lower dew points in the early part of the day, then it rises. And then for Tuesday, it looks like weak winds, westerly winds, and then becoming southerly. So that'll now, you notice how moist it gets inland too. So it'll be definitely feeling the air quality change. Won't be that nice crisp air that we've had the past 3 or 4 days. So looking at our air temperature on the HRRR tonight, probably our last night in the upper 30s to around 40, and then tomorrow we're going to warm up very nicely tomorrow. We're probably going to see mid 60s over New Jersey. Over Long Island, probably temperatures around 60 degrees. And into the city too, you're probably going to see mid 60s, maybe even a 70-degree reading out there. And that warmth goes well up upstate too. Even Maine will be in the 50s. So even there, probably going to melt most of the snow cover that they have left. And then it won't be nearly as cold tomorrow night, lows in the mid 40s. And then much warmer on Tuesday. Tuesday, I think we have a good shot at breaking 70 degrees in a lot of Long Island before the sea breeze kicks in, especially for inland. And mid 70s probably for Jersey into the city. The temperature is probably reaching close to 70 on Long Island, and then the sea breeze will come in and cool off the South Shore again. If you don't like the heat like me, you'll definitely want to be on the South Shore for that. And then the temperatures will drop a little later on as you get into Wednesday night back into the 50s. Looking at the GFS. Let's go look at the GFS. I'll show you dew points of wind flow in the GFS. So here we go for Tuesday. The GFS isn't showing any sea breeze at all. It's actually showing it's not showing to begin the day. It's not. And that's why things could warm up everywhere. And then there'll be one later on. And then as we get into Wednesday, you'll notice that easterly flow starts to set up. You see the differences in air masses. That's your warm front developing. That's going to mean clouds and showers and maybe some sucky drizzle. And then Thursday, we get into a warm flow ahead of that cold front. So it could be somewhat of an LLJ type of event, perhaps. Hopefully not too strong, but we'll know it more as we get closer to it. And you can see that southerly wind for overnight Thursday into Friday, and then we get into a west-southwesterly wind because the way that low is on Friday, and then you'll see again the drier air come back in for the weekend, and then looking at next week, you see again the drier air coming back down again. So we will have to contend with a little bit of humidity. Looking at our temperatures again, think we get to see 70 in a lot of areas on Tuesday, and then much cooler on Wednesday. Again, we're going to have a warm front kind of developing, so south of that warm front will still be warm, but for the rest of us, we get the east wind and sucky drizzle, perhaps, and then we got the rain for Thursday. So temperatures could still get warm. It'd still be warm, but not, just a warm, wet, humid, rainy, warm 50s. And then for Friday, we're still going to be warm, even behind this thing with the southwest wind. Still going to be temperatures in the 60s. And the weekend cools off. It looks like we're going to have temperatures back down to the mid 50s. And then you'll start to see that warmth creeping back in next week here a little bit. So it will be getting warmer. It won't be as cold as it. And you can see all that warmth there. And if we pull this out to the CONUS, just show you the warmth in the CONUS here. You can see east of the Rockies. Look at that very impressive warmth going way up into the Midwest there. So we're going to see a lot of that warmth. And yeah, look at this. Look at this next Monday. I mean, 80s perhaps going into North Dakota. That's insane right there. That's just insane. So yeah, we're going to have a big ridge develop here and bring a lot of warmth into the area. So I don't think we have to worry about any more freezes for your plants or anything like that. So let's go back to this, and we're going to look at the skies. Obviously, we've already gone over the skies for tomorrow, but I want to go over the skies for the week ahead, obviously. GFS obviously showing a lot of clouds around. No real clear days at all. Maybe Friday we'll get some sunshine. Maybe Friday into the weekend, maybe. This is a ways out. I don't like running the sky model that far out. So let's go to the RGEM next. Obviously know the deal with tomorrow already. You will see the sun, but it will be filtered at times with these high clouds and maybe some mid-level clouds too. But it may actually make it just enough so you can actually see the eclipse better. If you have a cloud or filter blocking the sun, you can see the disk of the sun and the moon blocking it. It might actually help, at least for those of us getting the partial. And then for Tuesday, it's showing high clouds to begin, and then more high clouds later on, so it won't really be clear. You're going to have that milky look to the sky, probably jet junk in there. And then for Wednesday, obviously plenty of clouds. So, not looking like we're going to see a lot of clear sky. That's why I kind of was out there and enjoyed the clear sky we had today, because I knew we're not really going to get that much this week again. You know how hard it is to get clear skies around here. That's what it is when you live in a warmer world, especially. So, lastly, let's go to the Climate Prediction Center and look at our outlook 6 to 10 day. No surprise, above normal for most of the country, especially Great Lakes and the Northeast, and generally anything east of the Rockies is going to be above normal. Precipitation is going to be near normal. 8 to 14 day does give us a little more of a likelihood of above normal precipitation, and still holding on to the likelihood of above normal temperatures. So that's going to wrap up this Long Island weather update. If you can't go and see the full total eclipse, enjoy it. But for those of us, I'll just be sticking around on Long Island and show you the partial if I can get some pictures of it. Hopefully the sky won't get completely cloudy. It kind of sucks because originally it was looking like a nice clear day tomorrow, at least a good part of the day, and I was going to actually do a hike in the Pine Barrens, but now it's going to be too junky for that. So anyway, at least I got to see a little bit of it today, because tomorrow we're going to have that cirrus. I hate that cirrus and that jet junk. It's just disgusting. You know the way I feel about it. So anyway, have a good night. Enjoy the eclipse, and next weather update will be tomorrow night.